Well, I'll tell you something. What if Caroline Poynton, is correct about King Charles changing his religion to Islam? Because after what I just put on YouTube myself, and after what I've said to AI and everything else about him changing his religion, people are starting to get it now and mentioning it now.
He's an Islamophile.
He's an Islamophile.
He has contempt for British people.
Well, he bloody is.
He protects Islam.
What about King Charles and his increasing links
What
with
about
Islam?
King Charles and his increasing link
Why has the main
with Islam? Why have the mainstream media covered all of this up? Oh, here we go.
He's an Islamophile, and he has contempt for British people.
Yeah,
and
he freaking does.
He protects Islam.
He protects Islam.
What about King Charles?
What about
And
King
his
Charles?
increasing links with Islam.
Yeah.
Why has the mainstream media also decided that this is a topic of limits as the British public gets angrier and angrier about what they see as a betrayal from the head of the Church of England?
Well, I do, yeah.
Tommy Robinson has also weighed in on this after a post from Radio Genoa, writing, I guess he's thanking them for their rapes across the nation.
Yeah. And that's what I've said. Why does he give Sadiq Khan a knighthood? Why does he give Sadiq Khan a knighthood? What for? Why is he changing his religion? Why is he slaughtering in halal meat?
Quran says, God does not burden any soul with more than it can bear. We hope that you have a blessed and fulfilling Ramadan. Peace be upon you all.
Yeah, that's Christians.
Ramadan,
this is what I'm saying to
as
you.
Muslims across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth observe the beginning of the holiest of months in the Islamic calendar, the month of Ramadan, I just wanted to convey my heartfelt best wishes to you all, and to tell you just how much my wife and I are thinking of you at this special time of year, as this would have been a joyous time. Mosques would be filling with life, Muslim families would be coming together to share food,
I bet they are, mate. Well, those rapists, murderers in there.
Their neighbours and
absolutely
friends,
fucking
of
brilliant.
all faiths and none,
All
to
things
join
bright and beautiful for him.
My wife and I can
No,
only
is
offer
it, you
you
fucker?
all our
Chasing
kindest
religion,
and
all.
most special wishes,
Yeah, mate.
and stress just
You're a
how
liar,
greatly the contribution of
You
Muslims
caused
to the
it.
life of the United Kingdom is appreciated and
To the
valued,
English and the Jews, you
embodying
fucker.
the Ramadan spirit of
Yeah,
charity and
Hitler.
selflessness.
Here we are, Hitler.
As the Quran says,
He's changed
God
his
does
religion,
not burden
and he's a
any soul
Muslim,
with more
and
than
he's
it
now
can
classed
bear.
as Hitler, like the rest of them.
We hope
King Charles, you
that you have a
go.
blessed
Get out,
and
it's in the
fulfilling
Bible,
Ramadan.
mate. You swore
The
on the
Quran
Holy
says a lot
Bible
else.
in the Church of
King
England.
Charles,
In the, on
a
the
lot
oath,
else,
in the
and you
road,
maybe need
in
to
the
start
court of
thinking
law.
about that. What's interesting,
That's
though,
sin in the Bible.
is that the MSN position on this
That's true.
is that if you're a Brit questioning King Charles's position, you're some sort of extremist. It's the same type of way that they treated Brexiteers. You know, you're a bit stupid,
No,
you're a bit
I'm
nutty,
not.
because look at this post from Politics Joe.
I'm not
We
stupid,
know
I'm
what the
English. I'm not
undertones
Brit.
was here when they
I'm
posted
English.
this woman
I'm not
outside
fucking
an
stupid either.
asylum
I know exactly
hotel
what he's done.
protest
He's a
in
German.
London, describing the
He's
king
not
as
fucking English, he's
Islamophile,
German.
and they look down their nose
DNA says
at this
German.
woman, where indeed I look at this woman and I think
So
actually
he's fucking German.
you're where the vast majority
My
of
DNA
the
says English, so I'm
population is
fucking
at.
English.
Watch this. Big
Exactly.
news. Outspoken is now available as a podcast too. So please do subscribe wherever you get yours, Spotify, Apple
Don't try and
Podcasts,
change
and
that.
make sure you
How
rate
can they
and
try and
review.
change
I'll
that
take
one?
5 stars, if you may.
I am very, very upset with
I'm
King
upset
Charles,
with
who
King
is not
Charles,
like
yeah.
his mother. He's the absolute opposite. He's an
I think
Islamophile.
his mother's just as
And
bad there in
he
a way.
has contempt for British people, and he protects Islam.
Yeah.
Never once said happy Easter or
Yeah,
whatever,
happy
but
Christmas.
yeah, anything in Muslim culture, you know, he's immediately there.
I mean,
Yeah.
he did give the Christmas message.
Yeah, not for an Easter one though, did he?
Nope.
So
Mother's
you know,
Day one, he didn't give a Mother's Day fucking
but he did
message.
for the
No,
various
because
Muslim
he chooses to be
festivals.
Muslim, so why would he do that?
And then I can't
Then
remember.
he
he made a comment.
celebrates it.
I mean, it's just he has complete contempt for his people.
Now, the mainstream media obviously have
I wonder if
contempt
they celebrate
for that
Father's
woman
Day over there. They probably
and her
don't, 'cause
views
it's Christian, isn't it?
that I don't.
It's a Christian
And I
one.
preface this, as always, by saying I find it really difficult. Because
But I don't think that should
everyone
matter
knows,
what
right?
colour
I'm a
a
monarchist.
mother is.
I'm a
If they're a
royalist.
mother, they should be allowed to celebrate
But
Mother's Day.
when it comes to
They're a
now
mother, they
King
should be
Charles,
allowed to
I've
celebrate
also
that because they're a
been
mother,
very
and
public about the
that
fact,
should be for every
including
mother
just
around
a
the world.
year before the death of the late Queen Elizabeth II, that if Charles continued as monarch to weigh in against hot-button political issues, including at the time Boris Johnson's Rwanda scheme, and now as King, Donald Trump's rhetoric about illegal immigration, which he refuses to call illegal immigration, he calls it irregular immigration, then the monarchy could be in trouble.
Yeah.
And the left is certainly, by the way, I'll come to that in just one moment, but first I want to bring in Connor Tomlinson. Connor, it's very obvious that Politics Joe thought here that they were doing what happened so much after Brexit, right? Oh, let's find one of these stupid Brexit voters and try and make them say something stupid because it helps our cause. But indeed, I watched that woman outside the migrant hotel, and I think, goodness me, you're saying what my viewers are saying. There is serious concern about King Charles' ties to Islam and his position on the Islam faith as the head of the Church of England that the mainstream media in this country, to be frank, Connor, is covering up.
Yeah,
quite. Even the Politics Joe tried to fact check her the edits there saying King Charles put out an Easter message. What they forgot to mention is that he crowbarred a mention of Islam into the Easter message. No mention of Christianity, of course, in his Ramadan message where he was stumbling through those Quran verses there. He said, or at least wrote on the royal website, quote, "The love he showed when he walked the earth reflected the Jewish ethic of caring for the stranger and those in need, a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions, and in the hearts of all who seek the good of others." Now, I would like to read a couple of Quran verses, if I may, and I hope this still gets monetized on YouTube, Dan. Given the idea that Islam is so welcoming of outsiders, I think they have a word for kafir. It means unbelievers. So, in the Quran it says, "When you meet the unbelievers in battle, smite at their necks. Also the punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger and strive with might and main for mischief through the land is execution or crucifixion, or the cutting off of hands and feet from opposite sides, or exile for the land." So, they're very detailed about what they would quite like to do to atheists, Christians, Jews, people like self, Dan. And so, for King Charles, to meet with Muslim leaders, to exalt Islam at every opportunity, to have in February invited chief rabbis, but also imams to Buckingham Palace, I think it was.
Not help the fucking public out in
sign these sort of reconciliation accords to foster interfaith dialogue.
Girls out there being murdered
Isn't it, how the Christians themselves were not present. And he invited a chap called Carrier Sim. He's the head imam at the Leeds Mosque. He's also on Hope Not Hate's charitable trust board. And when 7/7 happened, when 7/7 happened, he was the one who was quoted in The Guardian saying actually Muslims are the main victims. So a deeply subversive and odious human being. King Charles thinks he's a legitimate voice for the future religious freedoms in Britain. Remember, by the way, that he took the oath as the defender, as the defender of the faiths, and it seems that the one faith he has omitted from defence there is Britain's historic and established one, Christianity.
Well, the thing is, Connor, what's so interesting, of course, is that what he doesn't realise, or at least what he seems not to realise, is that if he continues going down this path, then there will be no kingdom to defend. I mean, during the state dinner with Emmanuel Macron, when he said that there was no border at all between France and the United Kingdom, well, that surely also means that there's no British royal family.
Yeah.
But folks, as I've entered my 40s, ageing has become ever-present in my life. My body doesn't back up the way it used to, and I've found that it's far easier to get injured when trying to work out.
I'm English, they can fuck off.
But I believe one of the best aging.
We don't want a British royal family, we want an English royal family. English. We don't want British, we want English royal family. But I don't want a British royal family. What do we need a British royal family for? We need an English one. That is a part of England. That's English.
Following a life, 15%
and then
of your
Wales and Ireland can have their own kings and things back as well, to be all fair.
Your older self, thank you. And by the way, thanks to
Poynton
for sponsoring this episode. Now, let's get back to it.
Well, there's no borders in the caliphate, and
I think we have two to three kings in England.
There's
two
potential options here, and one is represented by, I think,
one
what
down
King
south
Charles
somewhere,
himself
and
is,
one
but
up
also
north
the
this
sort of
way.
man that David Cameron was,
About
who's leading the
Yorkshire.
Conservative Party and pledging to Muslim
So I think
communities
we used to have
to
two
pack
kings.
the party
But I think we
full
should
of
go back
Muslims,
to
not
that,
just
and then
to
Scotland can have
fend
their
off
own king, which
accusations
is their
to
own
reason they
government,
once
the king.
repeated that the party
The king
was
we
the
should be
Nazi
classing
party,
as the
and they were too
government
pale,
people.
male and stale, and they needed to do something about it. But because
Yeah,
David
all
Cameron is an
these
Arabist,
people,
someone who
David Cameron, all of
fancies
them,
himself
you
a bit
see?
of the Lawrence of Arabia and romanticizes
You've got all these people,
the
yeah,
House of
as well as
Saud
Keir
and
Starmer.
other
That are all
Emiratis nations
pushing
in the
this
Gulf region
agenda
as great
with Keir
civilizations
Starmer.
whose history should be revered and respected
Yeah,
along with the
I
British
mean,
Empire.
don't get me wrong, I'm not
I think this is
sticking
completely
up Keir
disconnected
Starmer.
from the underlying
I am not.
Islamic
I've been
ethos
trying to find
that
out the
has
fucking truth. So
acted
why
as
is he
a
with the French
limiting
government?
force on those
See
civilizations'
what I
ability
mean?
to
He didn't
achieve
do
peace
that
and
for
prosperity.
Donald Trump.
The actual reason that
Why
the
did he do this for
Emiratis
Donald
and
Trump,
Saudis
King
and the like
Charles,
have become more
like
sensible
this?
in recent years is
Why
because
did
they're
he
trending more
roll it
towards
like this
a
out
sort
for
of
Donald Trump?
ethnocultural worship rather than being devoutly Islamic, which is why they've liberalised things for women in Saudi Arabia and normalised relations with Israel. I think King Charles is probably an
fucking
Arabist.
with that French
The
bastard when
alternative
they're
is
doing what
his
they're doing. He
affiliation
took
with
all
political
our
reform
money.
and his obsession
The French
with green
constantly
issues. He's
shaking
also
their
reminded
hands.
what politics Joe
Why are you not
does,
doing the
or
French in the
the
con?
delusional alliance between the Green Party
Why is he
and
not
Islamists
saying
who are
the
more
France?
concerned with God.
You keep
Britain.
sending
And
these
that is that he
illegals
thinks
to
everyone
England.
from
So I'll
everywhere
tell you what
has
we'll
a
do. We
universal
won't be flipping
human
having
nature.
any
But
friendship,
beneath all
mate.
these artificial
We'll be
layers of
cutting
cultural difference,
ties.
economic
And if you don't
outcomes,
sort
and
this out with the
geographical
borders,
space,
we'll be going back
that
to fucking
everyone
war.
is identical. And
King
so,
Charles,
if you elevate foreign
see,
countries, if you revere and respect them, you foster good relations with them,
fucking AI,
everyone can
Google,
suddenly become
try AI chatbots and Google or anything else, try and deny and lie. Fucking King Charles, I've been saying this all this time. Open borders, Tony Blair, King Charles. We're all in it together.
And transgenderism and feminism that you hold.
Yeah, because he looks gay, King Charles. He looks like a faggot.
At the same time,
he looks gay, he's shagging up, yeah.
Upon which his liberalism
that's why he
rests,
killed Princess
and not
Diana.
understanding that Islam is
And
not just one
fucking
among
BBC
many religions
covering
on
it
a
up.
global civilizational buffet, but actually a
Like a
completely
buffet
parallel,
for them lot.
incompatible moral system
Yeah.
that has dark designs for the future of the UK.
Very well put.
What BBC
I think there's
are
something
to lie
else
for
that
them
King
lot,
Charles
but-
really doesn't realise
To lie for
at
King
the
Charles.
moment, Connor,
He only
as
goes
he
on BBC.
cozies up constantly to the woke left
He only
and
speaks
to
to
the
the
Islamists,
BBC.
is that it's these groups that actually want
Surely
to
they're not
finish
really
the
putting
royal
him on.
family. And
Then the
Stephen
rest just copy
Sturgeon,
it.
the former First Minister of Scotland, who's on her book tour, actually said the quiet bit out loud today,
So
this
BBC
morning,
for
in
the
an
fucking
interview
royal
on
family, like I've
BBC
already
Breakfast.
said.
I found it hugely
Now
significant,
go back down to
actually,
King
because
Charles.
remember, she
Then we
really
might get
felt
somewhere
down
in this
path
fucking
when
political
she was in
world.
power.
And we
But
take
now,
him out,
out
take
and
the rest out.
saying with the Queen gone, the monarchy is going to be finished too. Watch.
Good. Now, good.
One thing I'm absolutely certain about, based on all my experience of speaking to
I don't-
I would
I'm
say
not
this
gonna
about the
lie
royal
to you,
family
you
more
bitch.
widely,
But
is that
go on,
if
you
when
fucking
Scotland
bitch.
votes to become independent, they will respect
You
that
fucking
because I
fucking
think they respect the decisions that people take. So yeah, look, as I said at the outset of this section, I'm a Republican, but I have such incredible respect for the Queen, a remarkable woman.
Yeah,
finally
we'll go
on
back
the
to war
royals,
with you.
One
Stupid
paragraph
bitch.
really stuck out to me. Having had the opportunity
With
to
the
observe the
fucking
royal family
Scottish.
up close, I have little doubt that history will look back on the day of her death, Queen Elizabeth's death, as the beginning of its end.
I think I also
Fucking
say,
British, not
however long
shit.
the span of that might be,
British,
so I'm
not
not saying
English.
that will be 10, it
Bloody
could be 100
English.
years. There's part, and time will tell whether I'm right or wrong here. There was
German.
such a mystique around the Queen.
Came here
Like,
after
literally,
war.
there's a picture
Goffer.
on the screen there.
Goffer
If you were in
family.
a room and the
Even
Queen
Albert
walked
wasn't
in, even
English.
if you weren't
He was a
looking at her, you could
fucking
feel her
Greek.
presence. And that sounds a bit strange to say, but there was a mystique around. Partly, she reigned
I'm a fucking
for much of her time before social media and before 24-hour news.
Sorry,
So,
I've fucking
and
done something in
while
Greece where
I'm
allowed
not criticising the rest of the royal family, I've got respect for
So he was
them
an
too.
illegal and they were
There's
illegal.
not that, and I
They
think
were
without
illegal
that, I
aliens in
think over
fucking first
time,
place to England. This is why we
perhaps the
have this.
absurdities of
Because
monarchy
of the royal
will start to
family.
come to the fore much more without
All
the
down to
personality
them.
of the Queen to
Hitler,
keep it
yeah,
going.
the
So that's
bastard.
my prediction.
They
but
created it.
time will tell
Fucking
whether
Jack
I'm right
Ripper
about
and
that.
all of it.
So I thought that was a very significant
Yeah.
intervention,
So do
Connor,
I.
from a leader
Because I'm Caroline Poynton from Bury in Manchester, and I'm saying that King Charles and them caused all this.
Say, well, look, she's a separatist.
Jack Ripper and
there's a
all
whole
of
load
them.
of reasons why she might do that.
The Queen
but
would go as well.
Charles
He's
has
gone
to
to hell.
stop being so
He's
naive.
gone to Jack Ripper.
These enemies.
Which created in the first place.
I will put someone like Nicola Sturgeon on the side of the Islamists want the end of the British monarchy.
Yeah, I don't think you're exaggerating there, Dan.
No,
she was the
handmaiden
of Hamza Yusuf's very short tenure.
I am not exaggerating.
He sort of flopped like his attempted
very
riding
angry.
scooter.
Go!
I think as far as Nicola Sturgeon goes, you can probably build her a padded cell out of all the unsold copies of those books that she's peddling. Unfortunately, she'll probably have to share it with the trans man. However, mental though she is,
she's fine with that. She's cool with that,
Yeah. We've faced tattoos, I'm sure, who hasn't beaten two virgin taps. However, mental as though she is, I do think she has a point in that the Queen is a world historical figure, and she did embody lots of good qualities about Britain, particularly following during the 20th century. The sort of times of change. She served as a constant kind of reference point for Britain as it was going through a series of undesirable changes thanks to the post-war Tony Blair and Boris government. And to have her gone almost completely deracinated all of our institutions from what we had before. I mean, I was born in 1997. I don't know a Britain different than the UK, spelled Y-O-K-A-Y, sort of incoherent multicultural mess that we've currently inherited. But the older generations, particularly the Queen, did. And now with Charles in charge, happily stewarding this Blairite revolution,
brought this from Germany
pushing
to
Britain
fucking England.
further towards
they
the
brought
green
this because
cliff
it was their
face
bomb
that
that
we're
fucking
approaching
did us in the
civilization.
first place.
Fall into
The
predictions of
gossip
civil
bomb, they
unrest.
changed their name.
I do think the monarchy has lost a lot of its legitimacy. That's a great shame because there's nothing more than the great egalitarian levelers like Nicola Sturgeon, Keir Starmer, or the entire civil service would like than to abolish the one final traditional hierarchical institution that cannot be infiltrated by some jumped up, appointed, mid-witted, middle-class civil servant who shoots up the career ladder like it's a lift on diversity quotas. I think the only way to spare monarchy at this point is, yes, a sufficient government that comes in and shows some muscularity around British culture, that sacks the civil service, and that challenges the Blairite settlement basically forces the King's hand to sign the council, at least in his speech, offering these radical proposals. Otherwise,
I've got it right.
If he doesn't do as little people do, he himself will look even more precariously illegitimate. And so they might be able to force the King's hand in his position of weakness to get through all the things that we want done, even though he himself would be very unhappy to see mass deportations go through.
I guess one of the issues, Connor, is that this is probably going to be a short reign, given the King is incurable cancer.
Good.
However, Prince William has
shown
even less affinity to the Church of England than his father, which was always something that worried the late Queen Elizabeth II. Do you have more hope?
Now they've shut it up now.
William?
They're not talking about
Not regarding the Church of England. I mean, I don't think the Church of England actually knows it's the current established church of the country at this point, Dan, and among my generation, and I suppose I've been slightly emblematic of this, Catholic Zoomers are outnumbering Anglicans 2-1, and that gap is only going to grow as more Anglican boomers die off and more Catholics have lots more children. We're sort of in a demographic arms race with the Muslims to keep our country intact. I think what might end up happening is you either get the first atheist king and Church of England disestablishes itself, or a successor to Charles gravitates towards a different denomination as emblematic of a growing religious revival, particularly Christianity, among Gen Z. I don't know what William's private observance is like. I doubt he will be the one to do this, but perhaps one of his children may help spearhead, at least culturally, Christian revival in this country, even if the Church of England, Henry VIII's personal divorce court, becomes disestablished as the official church.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just at the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new...
Our islands, the British English Islands. They come off the British English Islands, so that to me is not too bad. That's pretty good. Now here's what I've said about
Asterisk. Sound of a dramatic gong. Asterisk. What?
Oh, bumming out. Sorry. I was trying to do something. And then I went off.
I also wanted to say a personal apology.
Blooming hell, Mike.
Asterisk. Sound of a dramatic gong. Asterisk, asterisk. Whoa, hold up. Ever thought about what happens when a king's supposed to be the head of the church, but he's secretly praying towards Mecca? Yeah, I know. Wild, right? We're talking about King Charles, and the whispers are getting loud. Like, really loud. So, this is Caroline Poon from Bury, Manchester, and she's not holding back. She's digging into this bombshell claim that King Charles III might have converted to Islam. And get this, she says this allegedly happened way back around 96, 97. Think about it, he takes his oath, right? Swears on the Holy Bible to be a Christian king. But if he's secretly Muslim, well, that's a betrayal of epic proportions, isn't it? Poon's argument is pretty straightforward. If this is true, he's sinned against the Bible, he's betraying 2,000 years of British history, and frankly, he needs to step down. Pronto, end of the royal family, she says. Now, what's fueling this firestorm? It's all apparently tied to his brand, Duchy Originals. Poon claims that meat from this company, even the organic stuff, is being slaughtered using halal methods. And she paints a picture, a really disturbing one. She describes it as barbaric, torturous, assuming. Imagine animals hung by their feet, just bleeding out. Conscious. She contrasts this with what she sees as more humane ways. It's intense. And to back this up, they've got footage. Apparently, it's undercover from a slaughterhouse in Old Alley, near Birmingham. The descriptions are graphic. Workers allegedly throwing, shoving, dragging sheep. Animals slipping, getting kicked, hit, even dropped. Some sheep, they say, have their throats cut and are still conscious for up to a minute. There are reports of broken horns, ripped horns, just chaos. An expert, Jenny Mace, apparently looked at it and pointed out so many things that suggest the animals were conscious: inadequate restraint, lack of checks, animals moving after the cut. She even mentions sheep tail wagging for minutes after. It's tough to watch, I'm sure. Poon even speculates this isn't just about religious practice, but a deliberate act by the king to harden himself, to remove compassion, as a step towards, get this, world domination. She says it's about creating psychopaths. So, the big question is, if this is true, what does it mean? For Poon, it means the king has betrayed his oath, he's not fit to be on the throne, and the whole monarchy is compromised. It's a call to question everything. Asterisk, sound of a single, resonant bell, asterisk, asterisk. Is it possible that the deepest acts of supposed faith are actually just the start of a very dark path? And can we ever truly know what's behind the crown?
No, that's why they're lying to us all, yes. Yes, it is. Very much so why they're lying to everybody about these things. You know?
Sound of a ticking clock, then a sudden, sharp crack. Voiceover, intense, slightly breathless, asterisk, asterisk. What if I told you the biggest heist in London wasn't about money? It was about silence and a shiny medal, asterisk, upbeat, slightly jarring music kicks in for a few seconds, then fades to a more serious, driving beat, asterisk, asterisk. Speaker, Caroline Poynton, energetic, direct, asterisk, asterisk. Right, so, let's cut through the fluff, shall we? King Charles, Sadiq Khan, a knighthood, you've heard the whispers, you've seen the headlines. But why? Why, in a city teetering on the edge, would you hand out honours like confetti? It's madness, absolute madness, and honestly, it makes my blood boil. Asterisk, pauses, takes a breath, asterisk, asterisk. This knighthood, it's not just a bit of bling, is it? It's a shield, a bloody shield, makes it harder to get rid of him. And for what? For what exactly? While King Charles is off jetting around to climate conferences, costing us a fortune our money, mind you, what's actually getting done? Nothing. Zip. Nada. It feels like they're both just ignoring it all. The real stuff. the stuff that's actually happening on the streets. Asterisk, music becomes more urgent. Asterisk, asterisk. And let's talk about those streets, shall we? London, our London. Remember when you could just pop out for a bit of shopping? Yeah, me neither. It's not safe anymore, not just a little bit dodgy. It's genuinely unsafe. You're walking home, and bam, mugged. On the tube, you're worried about getting stabbed. It's a constant, low-level hum of danger. And this is the city we're meant to be proud of? The city that gets a knighthood for its mayor? It's a joke, a really, really unfunny joke. Remember what Trump called him? A stone-cold loser, the worst mayor in the world. Harsh? Maybe, but is he wrong? When you look at this mess, it's hard to argue. Asterisk, sound of a police siren in the background, then fades. Asterisk, asterisk. Now, let me tell you about someone who knows what's happening. John Wedger, former Met Police detective, and what is seen? It'll turn your stomach. We're talking child trafficking, abuse, gangs operating like it's a business plan. And the victims? Kids, innocent kids, some as young as 9, 14 at the oldest. Being taken to crack houses, trafficked to hotels, to restaurants. Can you imagine? They're being traded for £2,000 a pop, $2,000 for a child. Asterisk, voice cracks slightly with emotion. Asterisk, asterisk. John himself was a foster child. He knows what it's like to be vulnerable, and is seeing this system, this country asterisk, failing them. Over and over again. And the royal family? You think they're above it all? King Charles is just as bad, I tell you. Complicit, maybe not directly, but by looking the other way. By handing out honours when the city is crumbling. They say 80% of serious organised crime happens right here in London. 80%. And rape gangs? Apparently, they're operating across England. This isn't just a few bad apples. This is systemic failure. This is a breakdown. Asterisk, music swells, then abruptly cuts. Asterisk, asterisk. The mainstream media, the Daily Mirror, bless their cotton socks. Usually, they're so subservient, so quiet, but even they're starting to report on this now, because it's getting too big to hide, too ugly to ignore. So, we've got a knighthood for a mayor who seems to be presiding over a city that's rapidly becoming a war zone. We've got disturbing revelations about child exploitation. We've got accusations of systemic rot. Asterisk, pause. The ticking clock sound returns, slower now. Asterisk, asterisk. And the question remains, why? Why the knighthood? What are they really trying to protect? Asterisk, sound of a single, loud, echoing drip of water. Asterisk, asterisk. Think about that.
Think about that. That's good, that. I really like that. I do like that one.
Sound of a ticking clock, then a sudden, sharp crack. Voiceover, intense, slightly breathless. Asterisk, asterisk. What if I told you the biggest heist in London wasn't about money? It was about silence and a shiny medal. Asterisk, upbeat, slightly jarring music kicks in for a few seconds, then fades to a more serious, driving beat. Asterisk, asterisk. Speaker, Caroline Poynton, energetic, direct, asterisk, asterisk. Right, so, let's cut through the fluff, shall we? King Charles, Sadiq Khan, a knighthood. You've heard the whispers, you've seen the headlines, but why? Why, in a city teetering on the edge, would you hand out honours like confetti? It's madness, absolute madness, and honestly, it makes my blood boil. Asterisk, pauses, takes a breath. Asterisk, asterisk. This knighthood, it's not just a bit of bling, is it? It's a shield, a bloody shield, makes it harder to get rid of him. And for what? For what exactly? While King Charles is off jetting around to climate conferences, costing us a fortune our money, mind you, what's actually getting done? Nothing. Zip. Nada. It feels like they're both just ignoring it all. The real stuff. The stuff that's actually happening on the streets. Asterisk, music becomes more urgent. Asterisk, asterisk. And let's talk about those streets, shall we? London, our London. Remember when you could just pop out for a bit of shopping? Yeah, me neither. It's not safe anymore. Not just a little bit dodgy. It's genuinely unsafe. You're walking home and bam, mugged on the tube. You're worried about getting stabbed. It's a constant, low-level hum of danger. And this is the city we're meant to be proud of? The city that gets a knighthood for its mayor? It's a joke. A really, really unfunny joke. Remember what Trump called him? A stone-cold loser. The worst mayor in the world. Harsh? Maybe. But is he wrong? When you look at this mess, it's hard to argue. Asterisk. Sound of a police siren in the background, then fades. Asterisk, asterisk. Now, let me tell you about someone who knows what's happening. John Wedger, former Met Police detective, and what is seen, it'll turn your stomach. We're talking child trafficking, abuse, gangs operating like it's a business plan, and the victims? Kids, innocent kids, some as young as 9, 14 at the oldest. Being taken to crack houses, trafficked to hotels, to restaurants. Can you imagine? They're being traded for £2,000 a pop. £2,000 for a child. Asterisk. Voice cracked slightly with emotion. Asterisk, asterisk. John himself was a foster child. He knows what it's like to be vulnerable, and is seeing this system, this country asterisk, failing them over and over again. And the royal family? You think they're above it all? King Charles is just as bad, I tell you. Complicit, maybe not directly, but by looking the other way, by handing out honours when the city is crumbling. They say 80% of serious organised crime happens right here in London. 80%. And rape gangs? Apparently, they're operating across England. This isn't just a few bad apples. This is systemic failure. This is a breakdown. Asterisk. Music swells, then abruptly cuts. Asterisk, asterisk. The mainstream media, the Daily Mirror, bless their cotton socks. Usually, they're so subservient, so quiet, but even they're starting to report on this now, because it's getting too big to hide, too ugly to ignore. So, we've got a knighthood for a mayor who seems to be presiding over a city that's rapidly becoming a war zone. We've got disturbing revelations about child exploitation. We've got accusations of systemic rot. Asterisk. Pause. The ticking clock sound returns, slower now. Asterisk, asterisk. And the question remains, why? Why the knighthood? What are they really trying to protect? Asterisk. Sound of a single, loud, echoing drip of water. Asterisk, asterisk. Think about that.
Think about it. What are they hiding and lying about? Why are they lying to the public nation? I wonder why they just keep lying about this stuff, yeah. I wonder why. You know, it is quite thinking why they keep lying about this stuff. Pedophiles, all of them, when I come back on, just managed to turn it off. But now it's getting confirmed that they're all complicit, so they're all classed as pedos. Yep. All of them are all paedophiles with King Charles. King Charles, I am the first English lady. I am the first English lady to turn around and say to King Charles, because he's not fucking English, he's German. He is German. I wish I would stop saying he's a German ancestor. He's not a German ancestor, he's fucking German. And I am the first person to say, as English, is I am anti-fucking German. He can get off my fucking land, get out of our pubs, and get back to bastard Germany. Because we're coming to put the borders up. If you don't like it, the better move. Jurassic Park! Fucking dinosaurs! We are now in the Jurassic Park, and we have to protect us from the fucking dinosaurs. So get back to France, all of them. That's one. I will be coming in a bus. So King Charles better get out the way. Because he's changed his religion, and I know he has. I've been getting freaking evidence about this bugger off. Yeah, it's another one that I need to recover from Caroline Poynton. Poynton was trying to tell me that I'm wrong and they're right. I don't fucking think so. I'm right. And I've been right all this time. AI.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And here's an interesting question.
Hot Take.
Is the king a Muslim?
Yes.
If he is, he must immediately stop being
the king,
the head of the Church of England. He must step down from that role.
Yeah.
If he is, he must immediately stop being king.
Yeah.
He must abandon the throne and take himself off.
Yep, that's what I said.
I think if he is a Muslim, he's betrayed 2,000 years of history of this country.
It's in the Bible.
And it must mean the end of the royal family. And I've been a royalist my whole life. I swore allegiance to Her Majesty, technically to her heirs and successors, but I do not consider that stale oath fulfilled by my king.
Nope.
Because if he's a Muslim, he's not my king. He's not the king I swore allegiance to. What makes me ask this question is, and this story actually comes from one of you good people. It was actually a viewer suggestion. I'm not going to name the viewer for obvious reasons. I protect my sources. I don't want to embarrass anyone. But not just me. It seems others now. Lawrence Fox is looking into this. He's contacting Waitrose. Kelly Jane Keane also is raising this issue. Many people are starting to raise this issue. Because it appears that all meat, including, quote, organic meat, that comes from the Duchy, the Duchy rituals, King Charles's personal company,
he was Muslim before he became king.
Has been slaughtered by halal methods. This is barbaric and torturous. It should be banned.
Yeah.
Any country that considers itself civilized should ban halal meat. There is a reason it's banned, shortly. It is disgusting that our king thinks that this is acceptable.
I think it's acceptable.
And it's disgusting that it's not plastered all over the product, but this is a halal product, allowing informed consumer choice. One would assume, it being organic, they wouldn't have tortured an animal in order to kill it. But apparently, no, the king is quite happy with that.
Yep.
And that's the moment I realised he's not my king.
He's not Christian.
Now, there's going to be lots of denials.
He's not Christian, and we know there's lots of denials. AI's denied it. Google, Microsoft AI.
So, you can deny it all you like.
I can deny it all you like. If he's eating halal meat, and he's saying he's
they do have the balls to ban halal slaughter. Ritual slaughter in any form is backward and savage and barbaric. And it should be banned. Indeed, Sikhs actively work against this. The Sikh religion says that food is already blessed by God for, simply being food. You don't need some wizard susurrating spells over an animal as you torture it slowly to death.
Bloody wizard. Like
Sikh is actually very humane. It's a man, very highly trained man, with a huge sword who is literally and beheads the animal. It dies instantly.
Which?
I think it's probably more humane than a bolt gun, but at least a bolt gun is quick, you know. You're not letting an animal hang by its rear feet as you slit its throat and let it remain conscious as the blood slowly drains. My personal feeling, and this is just an opinion, is that the slaughtering of animals in a cruel, inhumane way
is disgusting.
Was done deliberately and chosen deliberately in order to harden the individuals, harden the people who did it, against feeling compassion. If you have compassion for animals, you might end up having compassion for humans. And when you're looking for world domination, you can't afford to have compassion for humans. So you instill cruelty to animals in order to create little psychopaths. That's my opinion. Challenge me. But if the king is flogging halal meat, then I will never, ever buy anything from Dutch stores again. I will never, ever use Waitrose again. They're stocking this disgusting product. And the king must go. In fact, I think it's time now the royal family goes. Basically, fucks off. They can take a few million each, but all their houses revert back to the States. They go and live somewhere nice, somewhere far away, where they can practice their disgusting habits in private.
Somewhere
but
else.
not in this country.
He don't belong there anyway, he's a German twat. He's a Hitler.
And I thought the
Hitler wants to chop him up.
Right.
Hitler can't stand him.
He's not good.
He's not good. I told you. Can't do that.
Leaving the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
But journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience. Charlie Peters, he gave a voice to the...
Thank you very much from Caroline Poynton about King Charles. Thank you. From Caroline Poynton in Bury, Manchester. Can you hear the rain? I know.